Thank you for that. You've worried me a bit by describing email marketing as exciting. I don't know how I'm going to really make it that, but let's hope we can make it interesting. Can I just have a quick hand show? Who's actually engaged in some form of email marketing at the moment? What I want to do in this short time that we have together, 30 minutes or so, is just talk through a few principles of email marketing that help make it effective in business. Now, email continues to be an extremely effective way to engage with customers, existing customers, potential new clients. And I think as SMEs, I run a small business myself based in Burton-on-Trent selling software, it's powerful in the same way that many other web technologies are, in that it allows us to be extremely competitive. You can almost sort of box above your weight, if you know what I mean, by differentiating yourselves from competitors. In some cases those are significantly larger and better resourced companies. Everybody does email marketing to some degree or others. I'm sure your competitors are doing this stuff as well, but the great opportunity for me is that lots of people do it really, really badly. And therein lies the opportunity for us, but just by taking a slightly smarter approach, just planning and understanding what we're doing to get value from it. And what I'm saying is that success in email marketing comes from continuously developing a trust relationship between you and your organisation and the recipient, the person that you're contacting. And it's also about consistently delivering valuable information. So that, nothing new there. I think any communications channel needs to have those two things at its heart. But some tips for trying to get your email read, if you like. So assuming that you can get your email delivered through a spam filter in the first place, when it's in the inbox, what have you got to try and get people to open the email and engage with you in some way? And it used to be always thought that people looked at the subject line and thought that is most critical, but now modern thinking is that people look at the from line first of all. So who's the email from? And if there's a tick in the box there, they'll move over to look at the subject line, and then following on from that, possibly a reading pane, if a reading pane is used, or open the email and take it further from that point. So in terms of from lines, what can you put in them? You can structure the from line to have any kind of text in there that you want, but don't spend too much time getting bogged down in the subject line until you've considered the from line. So what should it say? Should it be a person's name? Should it be the name of your company? I think the answer is just, again, whatever is most likely to resonate with the people that you're targeting. If they know you as an individual, then your name is fine. If I'm sending an email out to people who've signed up to my newsletter on my website, they've never heard of Will Ingleby, they don't know who I am. But they'll know Bluebird CRM, which is the name of our company, so in our from line it'll say Bluebird CRM. If we're sending out an email to people who don't know us so well, they're not directly connected with us, maybe it's an implied list that we acquired from somewhere, in the from line we might use that to describe the product or the service or whatever the content of the email is going to be about. So it's a fairly simple thing, but it is the first thing that people look at, often in their subconscious. And then the subject line, important as well. Probably a good rule of thumb is to keep the key part of the subject line in the first 40, 45 characters, something like that, because beyond that the subject line is truncated in the inbox the way that it's presented. And people tend to read only the first 4 words of a subject line. If you look at, and you can find plenty of these on the internet, heat tracking, heat maps, if you like, that track what people look at in emails, it's generally the first 3 or 4 words. So that's your key real estate in the subject line. And I think it's a good idea just to be really simple and concise with the wording as well. Don't try and be too clever or cryptic and get people's brains to work too hard to try and understand what it is that you're trying to say. Just cut to the quick and keep it really, really simple.